All right, welcome to another episode of Catholic Mindset. Here today, I have my very good friend Joseph Acenas. He, him, and I met a couple of years ago already. Has it been a couple of years already?
Yeah, I think so. It was a
Right,
couple of years.
and we met. Of course, we met in church, so it was pretty cool because we met actually through a retreat that we have in our church called FETA, right?
Yes.
And I was asked to help. I was asked to help in the retreat for like ever, but finally I decided to do so, and I'm glad I did because I got to meet this wonderful man here, Joseph Acenas, and he is also a big fan of Chosen, which is a series, right? Which is a series about the story of Jesus Christ. Correct? I haven't seen it. Joseph preaches about this. He's a big fan. He's not an official spokesman, but he might as well be. Might as well be. Um, but why don't you? What is Chosen?
Alejandro, before I get started, I just want to say thank you, and I'm grateful that you're doing evangelization of something like this, a podcast, to share to other people, other Catholics, that we're not stereotypes that strict and brainwashed to a we're we're open minded and know the fullness of the truth. And the chosen is directed by an evangelist, but the one that the actor of Jesus is a Catholic,
Yeah.
and it's about the disciples, the apostles, and their stories behind it, and Jesus.
Okay.
And the only thing with this is you need to set your mind into it that it's not the Bible. It's not directly into the Bible. It's like a painting. It's an art. So they put stories behind those in between stories in the Bible, because in the Bible there's always jumps, and put it's not all stories about the disciples, about the apostles are in there. There's always jumps, always about Jesus, about the gospel. But here they make it a show. So they make it more um
Well, for the
it's
times, it sounds like it.
yes. And it's an incredible show. I can't believe that it's not like a Passion of Christ. It's that movie is more like it's a mellow dramatic and kind of emotional kind of way.
Mm.
Here is more like a agreed, more realistic kind of a show. So I really love it.
I think that's great. I think that we should do more of that. I tell people all the time that we should have more normal shows with infused Christian Catholic content, right? We don't have to always dive deep into, oh, I'm wearing my Jerusalem cruisers in the Middle East, and then we're doing a story on a biblical concept. It could be a show of like just a regular family, just regular issues, regular problems, and then there's these moments of heavy Christian experiences, like praying before dinner, going to mass, getting married in a church. You don't have. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I feel like so. That's what I'm getting from what you're telling me, that choosing is kind of like.
Yes, because I talked to a friend and he was saying that most of the movies are, what's the word, secular. So they put a lot of money on those secular movies, and here us Catholics, Christians, we put a little bit budget on those kinds of movies and TV shows. That's why most of it are not that good.
Yeah,
I need to be honest with this. Is most of
that's
the series or most of the movies that I watch about the Bible, about I remember about Moses, about the one of the good movies is the Passion. The Passion. with Mel Gibson, directed by Mel Gibson. But
Uh-huh.
that's about it. And most of it are not that good. And we need to promote it, as I am doing right now,
Yeah.
to show it to other people. It's really good. You just have to watch maybe 3 episodes, just like any other shows, that they need to build up the characters. I know you know the characters already, but it's a show that they need to build up the characters so that you get relate into it. It's very relatable, and you understand the story. It's not against the Bible, but they add a little bit of informations into
Right.
it.
I mean, so they keep. You're saying that they keep that the core message of the story of Christ, but they also build up the other characters. They add stories, just like they would do in a regular movie, right? When they do somebody's biography, right, or when they do or when they tell history, right, or when you watch a show about Romans and the Empire, or right, yeah, you have tidbits of actual historical information, but then you also have to paint the picture, right? You have to add customs, you have to add some traditions, you have to make up some things, right, or estimate some things in order to make it a lively series, right? That's what I
And
understand what you're saying.
as a Catholic, we tend to default on, oh, it's directed by evangelists. It's not really, maybe parts of it is not a Catholic. They're like against the church. But the thing is, I research about it. I check on the comments about the priests, and I saw a video. These two Franciscan priests, they watch a couple of clips, and they loved it. Like, even in the show, they show Our Lady, our Mother Mary, and they presented it in a nice and a respectable way in the series. So I love it. I accept it. The most of the priests, like all of the priests that I know, loves it too. Even Father Mike Smith, but in Ascension Presents in YouTube, I listened to one of his homilies. He does homilies every Sunday, and he recorded it, and he does live stream to it, and he comment about Chosen. I was like, yes,
Yay.
Father Mike, love it too.
Go. Hey, that's awesome. Most of the Christian music that we listen to is made by our brothers and sisters in the Christian community. I mean, I don't know a lot of. I'm sure there is a handful of Catholic singers and albums out there, but there's also a lot of great Christian content. I mean, most of the Christian music I have on my phone is Christian music, not made by Catholics. So
Mine
hey,
too.
it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So let's dive a little deeper into The Chosen. What is your favorite part of The Chosen so far?
There's a lot of clips that I love that sometimes I just skip through it and play it again. And then sometimes I cry into it. I have to accept and share to you that I cried on most of the clips and most of the episodes. But I like to go on deeper on most of the disciples and most of the apostles. Like, for example, Peter, like Simon Peter. The show presents Peter there to be muscular. It's not like old and I remember in one of the movies that I watched, I can't remember the title. Um, it's where Jesus resurrected, and in this movie they show Peter, and he looks old and a little bit chubby. But here he's more muscular. He's more like a real fisherman that carries a lot of loads, and it's incredible. And I remember I listened to one of the homilies of the priests. I like it because nowadays there's a lot of live stream on the masses, so I can jump into most of the masses here in YouTube. And
The
one of the priests
international masses.
explained, yeah, one of the priests explained that Peter having that boat, a fishing boat, in that time is you have money. He's not a poor fisherman, because having that boat and having their home, his wife and house to live in, it's a well off type of citizen in those times. So he left his life to go to go to Jesus and follow him, and it's very difficult. He left his wife. He has a wife, and he is the first pope, and it's incredible because he's also shows that he's impulsive. Like, yeah, Jesus, go head on, without even thinking what's the like other worries in life. And I love that character. It helped me relate to that character, like how um, no fear, no worries, just follow Christ.
Is this one of the clips that you mentioned, or just the part that you like?
It's I believe it's in episode 3, but in episode 2 of the series, I have this a little bit spoiled, but it's about Jesus talking to kids. There's a group of kids. It's not in the gospel. I never heard it in the Bible that Jesus has conversation with kids, and it's incredible. Like the kids knows Torah, or the Jewish uh, Bible, like
Yes.
the Old Testament, and they're learning it. And Jesus asks questions to the kids, and
Ooh.
there's a prayer. There's a prayer. I don't know the prayer. I just heard it about. It's like, "Oh Israel," something like that, and then blah 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 blah. While he's listening to the kids, it's like the camera moves on Jesus' face. It's like he really appreciate listening to those kids praying, and it's like he's about to cry. It's like, wow, like that show really portrays it like in the best thing that I can think of about Jesus.
That's awesome. That sounds like a beautiful scene.
And also there it is, I think in the last episode on season 1 is in The Woman in the Well. Before I watched this series, I just heard about it in one of the homilies, and I haven't read it. I haven't read that part in the Bible, but I thought it's just a simple story about a lady in the well, and Jesus went there and talked to her, and she was she was open. Get me? She was far with the Holy Spirit, and no, just far with love with Jesus. I don't know in theological terms is if that's the Holy Spirit. I believe it's the Holy Spirit. No,
If she
if
was,
Jesus, yeah, she was like far on, follow Jesus.
or
Anyway,
oh, okay, like excited.
yeah, excited to meet the Messiah. So I thought it's just a basic story, just like any other stories in the Bible. There's always something behind those stories, and in the series, they portrayed that scene perfectly. Mm, yeah, maybe 95%. There's some part of the script that I want to change, but it's fine. And that scene, Jesus is not supposed to cry, but the actor, he can't help it to cry. Like the director, I remember he was saying that, oh, his name is Jonathan, Jesus, the one who portrayed Jesus. The Jonathan is not supposed to cry in this moment, and repeat it twice already. So he accepted it. Then Jesus is crying in this moment. And it's so cool. And the thing is with Jesus, they portray Jesus there to be more human because he's 100% human and 100% God. Because in the Bible, in Most of the movies that I watch is more like a silent and just touch you and you heal, and it's like more godly, and sometimes we can't relate to it. Here
Got it.
Jesus is more, he's still a god, but he's more relatable. He connects with the disciples, with the apostles, and he jokes about them. It's not in bad jokes, but it's really a connected relatable joke, and the apostles are like happy.
So okay, yeah, because in most of the movies that we may have seen growing up or now is you see the moments that are in the Bible. He heals, he does this, and there's those moments. I guess in The Chosen, they're showing you more of the human aspect of how he would relate with those around him, right?
Yes.
Like the Star Wars movies. And now they're doing all these side movies, which is nice to see how other people could have been living or other situations other than just the main movies. No, that came to mind. But okay, so yeah, so they're showing you Jesus relating with his disciples in a more human, relatable way, more realistic, like you and I would interact with each other.
Yes. Before we move on, I forgot to tell you that it's a crowd-funded series,
Oh,
and I think it's the very first big crowd-funded with, I I don't know what's the number and the milestone, but in season 3, I believe they need like 10 million, and they're like half of it, I believe. And all of the series, it's right now it's finished in season 2, and it's all crowd-funded.
wow. So,
And
and you said it's,
yeah,
you told me before pre-podcast that it's a free series.
yes, it's free and it's crowd-funded. You can donate. That's how the system works. You need to download the app for free on Android or on iOS on the iPhone, and you can watch it. You just have to cast it from, you you know the word cast. You cast it from your phone, goes to the TV. If you don't know the cast, just like
Like me,
other of my
I don't know what
other of
casting
my
is.
friends or other of my older friends, that you can buy a DVD, but you have to pay for it and give it to them.
Wait, now you're using words that this generation may not know. What is a DVD?
I don't know what what the meaning of DVD is, but it's a disc,
It's a
and you
disc.
put, yeah, it's a disc. I don't even have a disc here.
We don't use this anymore. Well, you can watch it on the app, on your phone, or on the website, right?
Yes,
Oh, there you go.
and
I think
some
that's more
people
than enough.
they do watch parties. I saw them, but in my group of circle of friends, they haven't watched the series yet, just like you. And I'm just waiting for you guys to watch it so that in season 3 we can have a watch party in somewhere.
But
So it's fun to watch it.
we need to have a watch party to catch everybody up. You know, I think that's how we should do it.
No, it's tough because it's like 1 hour per episode, and it's 8 episodes per season, so it's an 8 hours.
We'll knock it
It's
out.
like a,
We'll do half. We'll do 4 hours. We'll go. We can go to your house and we can watch 4 hours straight, order pizza, hang out, and do activities in between. And then we do that
you
again.
know you know it's a series, and most series you can't really stop.
Hey, and if we feel inspired, we'll just watch all the shows.
Yeah, maybe we could do
Just
that.
a thought. Just providing you with ideas. That's what I do.
I'm doing it with my family. I watch it
Oh,
multiple
nice.
times in my family. And
Joseph is
like,
like,
oh, what are you watching? Yeah, I'm watching Chosen. You want to watch it? I replay into it, and then they can watch it again, and they love it. My sister was, I think, right now is still into it. They're planning to watch the season 2. I finished the season 2 already. And a
Yeah.
friend of mine, I keep on saying it to him, and eventually watched it, and he loved it too, and he finished it too. That's cool to have um, that kind of affirmation that it's really good. It's not like you're brainwashed to it. And they're saying, "Oh, thanks, Joseph, for discovering this." In the show, there's a motto. This is a motto, a phrase,
Mhm.
and it says, "Come and see." Just come and see. It's one of the script saying in one of the apostle there. And the good thing with this series, you get to know all apostles, all 12 of them, including Judas. You memorize it, even though that you're not forced to memorize it. I remember in one of my school years, I have to memorize the apostles, and it was like forced, and I don't like to memorize apostle. I already
Their
forgot
names?
about them. Yeah, their names. And now I memorize them because of their faces, and it's incredible. You can pray to the saints, to Saint Peter, Matthew. Every time the priest saying um, the gospel from
Yeah.
a reading from the gospel of John,
Uh-huh.
and then I picture it in my head.
It's like, I know you, John.
John, yeah, I
Got
know
you.
you, John, the beloved John. And the good thing with this is you already know the story. It's it's about appreciating the art, appreciating the show. I believe they're planning to have 7 seasons, so it's a lot season. We're
That
like
that's
uh,
a lot.
we just
Awesome.
finished season 2, and they're saying that season 6 is where the crucifixion. So it's gonna be dark and heavy, the crucifixion. And season 7 is where the apostles like needs to do after Jesus left, after he ascends to heaven. And it's cool. It's the Acts of the Apostles.
That must be. So I see what you're doing. You want us to catch up and watch it, so that by the time that we get to season 6, we're there to support you through the crucifixion and watch season 6 together. I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening.
Me, the thing is, for example, I met a friend in the church. His name is Nathaniel. I was like, dang, that's one of the apostles. Did you know that? Yeah, he knows that he is one of the apostles, but he doesn't know about like the backstory. Like, you know that he's an architect. He wants to build a church for the Messiah to have like the disciples sings and praise Jesus, praise God in that building. So that's what I understand with Nathaniel. And I remember one of the because in the live stream, the director has a little bit of couple of minutes of comments before the episode starts. The bad thing with it is you can't wait. It's hard to wait, and this director keep on. I think his name is Dallas. The Dallas is keep on saying a lot of stuff, a lot of comments about the show, and you can't really wait. But here's what he saying is when they show Nathaniel, one of the apostles, like there's this app in the Bible app in the phone, the server crashed, and they check on the errors. A lot of people looking for Nathaniel. Who's Nathaniel? Who's Nathaniel? Because there's this Bible app that you just have to type a keyword, like for example Nathaniel, and all of the mentioned Nathaniel in the Bible will show up, and that the app crash because a lot of people search for that word, and it's amazing. It makes the series for me and most of the people makes um, it motivates you to read the Bible, Like for example, in wedding of the at Cana, it's like, oh, I want to see the real gospel and the real words of Christ in the Bible. So you have to. I read it. I read the wedding at Cana. Like, what's other details that I have to learn about the Bible? It really motivates you in a clear way, and you get really connected through the Bible, through the words of God.
So tell me more about the disciples.
We could start on one of the disciple. She's not an apostle, because in that time, um, the woman is less in the society than the men's, and the disciple is Mary Magdalene. I love the way they portrayed Mary Magdalene. She's in the first episode, and I believe I got hooked in the first episode because of her. They depicted her, and it's an incredible miracle that Jesus did to her. And one of the episodes later on, they depicted that sh- uh, she got fallen away again,
What do you mean?
out of grace.
Oh, okay.
And I agreed the way the director did, because they depicted all apostles, including the disciples, that they're not perfect. They're they're also human. They have mistakes, they fight, and also fallen out of grace. And there was one script that Jesus said, it's not really a redemption if it got in away only in one day. And he's saying that it's more like a conversion, and someday you'll you'll get out of it. And I
So
really connected to it.
so it's not only let's review that. So it's not a conversion if it's done in one day. That's
Yes,
what you're saying. It
a
makes sense.
redemption.
A redemption. It's not a redemption if it's done in one day. It's too fast. It's too fast. It's too short. You're saying in order for a redemption to come through, it needs to be something that takes longer than a day.
Yeah, just like being a human.
Mm.
We we are sinners. We are unfortunately born with it, and we have Christ who always accept us, who always there for us, who always forgive for us. That's why in the Catholic Church we have the confession.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, yeah, the baptism free us from that original sin that we're born with, and then we have confession, which is key.
yes, and they depicted it to the apostles that they're not perfect. There is one, I think the title is, I believe it's Matthew 24, and there is apostles, like they're fighting with each other. Because remember, Matthew is a tax collector, and Andrew, Peter, John, and James are fishermen. They hated the tax collector because they have to make money for their family, and they have to pay taxes. And Matthew, in this case, is the tax collector, and they hated him. And here's Jesus, like healing people nonstop, and they all stop. And it's a very incredible scene that you need to watch on, because I cried into it. I was like, this is a type of series that you don't need the most of the time the script or the like the dialogue. It's more, sometimes it's more like a facial expression, like sending the message from the facial expression, from the scene itself, from the vibe that it presenting, and you really get the message. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Am I making any sense?
Yeah. So it's not so much dialogue. It's what you're looking at. I like it. I like it. I like it. I
Like
like
the
what you're
facial
saying.
expression, the body language that they portraying with Our Lady in Our Lady Mother Mary in the wedding of Cana, when Jesus uh, makes the wine, makes the water into wine. It's an incredible scene that you really need to watch it.
I haven't
I
seen it.
keep on really watching it. If I were you, if you're still not convinced during this podcast, you can watch it on episode 3. Just watch directly
Yeah. No,
and
it's
you will
not like
see you
it's
can skip it.
it's not like I need convincing. It's just I need to incorporate it into my life. And I tried to do like a group watching because I didn't want to watch it by
Yeah.
myself. Uh but yeah. No, I definitely do want to hit this up and watch it. Um you mentioned Mary Magdalene, and I don't think we got to break down what it was that you liked in particular about that scene that happened. You mentioned that there was a redemption thing. Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
more about that? About
Because
the scene with
in
Mary Magdalene that impacted you the most?
during the series, Mary Magdalene is like in the background, and she realized to like learn more about the Torah, like the Old Testament, while being with Christ, while walking with the disciples, walking with the apostles. And there was this scene that she got triggered on one of the scene. I'm not going to explain it because I'm not going to explain it properly. But he fallen. She got out of grace, out of the Lord.
Mhm.
And Jesus asked Peter and Matthew. They hated each other, but Jesus asked them to look for Mary Magdalene, and everybody was shocked. Why? Why Matthew and Simon? His name there is Simon. He eventually became Peter, the
Mm.
first pope. And the dialogue in the scene is incredible. When she went back, she like Our Lady, Mother Mary, was accompanying her to Christ, and in that scene, there's other events that happening. Like for example, John the Baptist got captured for good. So I believe Jesus was crying, like alone in the tent. Like you can hear that, like that with Jesus, and it's incredible how they portray Jesus, how they portray Mary. It's it's really incredible. I wish we could watch it all together with the same enthusiasm that I have right now. I could really watch it with you guys, even though I already watched it multiple times.
I was gonna say, I feel like I feel like you watched it so many times, but I feel like you wouldn't mind watching it again. So, Joseph, tell me more about Jesus in The Chosen.
Here, Jesus, as I told you, that he's more relatable. He's more like a human than than just like in the movies. That it's more like a godly man. But here, he's more like a human. And the way they portray Jesus, they showed before his mission to save us, like before he met the disciples, they show how he live. He live in like alone. He's making his craft to sell it to other people so that he has financial um, capability to travel. That's how they portrayed it in in the series. Like he makes, because he's a carpenter, just like Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph. That's how his trade is before he went to the mission. And you can really see how he prayed during in those times, like to the Lord before he sleep. Like he's brushing his teeth, he's cleaning his feet, and prepare his meal. It's really incredible scene that you can really visualize it. You can meditate on it, on on your prayers. And sometimes they showed like the disappointment on Jesus' face, like some of the people, because he invited in the series, he invited Nicodemus. If you remember in John 3:16, he talks about a new life, being born again, and it's an incredible scene. I asked a friend, that's his favorite scene. Like I remember before the scene started, where they choose a place. It's at night, and they ask a friend. I don't know whose friend it is, but they ask a friend to use the rooftop, and they said that they can't use the light because it will it will you can people will see the light in the rooftop. And Jesus was commenting about light, and it's incredible. It's just a side comment. Like he said that people are really attracted to the light. It's true. Something like I'm not sure in the exact words, but I was like hit on me like, dang, yes, Jesus, we attracted to the light in this darkness. We attracted to the light where God is.
I see that.
And
It's like
Nicodemus,
little subtleties,
yes,
like dropping
and
these little like bombs of knowledge. Like he is the light of life, right?
they portrayed Nicodemus also a well-known Pharisee, and he met Jesus. He appreciate Jesus, and he's already old, so he has family. He has already a life, and you can really see Jesus' disappointment to him when Jesus asked him to follow him, and you can see the journey in saving the Israelites and become Christians. And they portrayed it that Nicodemus can't really be with the apostles. Can't imagine him being an apostle, a Pharisee, being an apostle. But eventually, in the later life, we still have Saint Paul for us. Anyway, that's one of the um, episode in season one. That's really incredible. That you need to watch it. It's a worth watching episode.
And what about the miracles? How are they depicting the miracles?
Oh, there is one miracle, um, the healing of the leper. I watched. Excuse me. I watched the episode. I loved it, and then I heard it in one of the priest homilies in Sundays. And the only thing is, it makes it more beautiful when you hear the gospel and reading it and hearing it from a priest, like the way they um, reflected on the homilies, and you go back to the episode and watch it again. So in the lepers, they said that when Jesus healed the leper, he asked the leper not to tell it to anyone because it's a private miracle. But the thing is, the guy was so excited that he was healed, and he talks to a lot of people, to the Pharisee, and eventually all lepers wants to see Jesus. And in that time, now Jesus can't go inside the city. He has to go out because when they see Jesus, they're gonna go inside and affect everyone. And That's the thing. Like Jesus decided to be outside because of it.
During the healing
And you
of the leopard.
yes, after the healing of the leper.
Ah.
And in the series, it portrayed, it presents, it showed that Jesus talked to the leper not to tell to anyone. But of course, he messed it up and tell it to everyone. And Jesus now can't go to the city to heal other people. And there's a lot of miracles. Like for example, there was a miracle about um, the finding the lost sheep. I'm not going to explain it exactly what kind of a miracle it was, but it was a good representation that they did. Jesus was preaching about the lost sheep and finding the lost sheep and leaving the 99 sheep. And the way they portrayed it on every episode, it's like there's a short story and then eventually it connected to the last part of the episode. So it's kind of whole connection, and it's not really a cliffhanger. Yeah, I believe you can stop, but when I watched it for the first time, I watched everything of it one time. So I lost one night of sleep just because of it. And can I ask you a question? Do you
Yes.
know do you know why Jesus has a nickname with the two brothers, uh, James and John? You know their nickname?
I do not know their nickname. Maybe.
So before this, I didn't know their nickname. I just realized it, and when I watched it, oh, is that in the Bible? So when I look into it, yeah, it's in the Bible. Jesus has a nickname to two of them, and the nickname is the Son of Thunder.
Son of
There's a
Thunder.
yeah, there's a story. It's incredible. I like that scene too. And James and John, they become the Son of Thunder.
So both of them
Ye-
are the son of thunder.
Yes, there's a reason why it's Son of Thunder,
You have to
and they
tell me now.
portrayed it. Yeah.
Why
Hmm?
is it? Why is Jesus calling, why is Jesus calling them the son of thunder?
Because in the season two, they spend most of the season two in Samaria. I think that's the place where where these people hated the Israelites. They hated them. Like all Jews, they hated them. And in that scene, James and John was like, "Oh, we're gonna bring hell to them." And Jesus were like, "Whoops, whoops. Be quiet, silence." And then and Jesus were like, "This is not the point. You are all not worth it. That's the point." Because they were felt like, yeah, yeah, it portrays the apostles, the disciples are not perfect. Sometimes they're like that, prideful. And that's what Jesus nicknamed to them, the sons of thunder. It's an incredible scene.
Hate.
And the way the accent also, I just want to comment on that. Like the Jesus accent, it's not American. It's more like it's English, but it's different. I don't know what accent is that. Maybe Aramaic or Greek accent. It's different.
You mean they speak English, but the way the English is coming out of his mouth, like the accent he's using, is not the American or the British accent. It's more like a different type. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Because I listen to Hallow, the Hallow app.
Yes.
It's a prayer app, meditation prayer app for
Yes.
Catholics. And I believe there's a free plan, but also I believe you can also ask Hallow to have a paid plan. Anyway, I'm not gonna tell that.
Super
I'm not sure.
advertisement for Holla right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but there's a free plan. And
Yeah.
one of the audio over there is Jonathan, the Jesus. So Jesus is reading the Bible for you, but it's an American accent. It's different. I was like, it's different. I like the Jesus chosen Jesus because it has a different accent. You can really appreciate the way they did the the accents over there.
Got it. And why is it called Chosen?
Oh, I believe. I'm not sure
Yeah,
why, but
this is
I believe.
Joseph's theory,
Yeah, this is my theory.
hypothesis, actually hypothesis.
First, Jesus is the chosen one, and also the apostles are the chosen ones.
Mm.
And in turn, we eventually become the chosens. We're the chosen. There's a song actually, in Hillsong. I believe it's a whole heart something like title. I can't remember the exact title, but in the lyrics there's the word chosen, and I got like, oh yeah, that's the reason why we're chosen. That's the reason why the series name Chosen, and it's incredible. Like you really have to watch it, man. Eventually.
Joseph has been
Uh,
recommending this series for me for a while now, and I've kept it. I've kept it in my to do list, but I have to do it. I know I have to do it. Let's see. So Joseph, I know that we're running out of time, and I want to thank you, of course, for joining us. Is there something else you want to tell us about Chosen? Is something you like to add?
Actually, for the show, no, but I would like to add something about your podcast. I'm also a fan of your podcast, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
And I already told you about it, but I would like to share it. That in this podcast, it's only 30 minutes, and I would like to maybe more minutes if you want to add it. And also, you put music.
Yes,
If you listen to different episodes of Alejandro, there's some music on the background before it stops. So
yes.
that's the key.
It's to let you know that it's coming to a close. But thank you. I should make them longer. You're right. You're right. You're right. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Feedback is very important, and I have to listen to my listeners and to my fans, like Joseph.
Yes. I really appreciate you doing this podcast to share our faith to the world, Catholics, the Universal Church. Thank you. Thank you,
Amen.
brother.
Amen to that, man. And thank you, Joseph. You're a wonderful, beautiful man, and thank you for what you do for the church and contribution. I know that you're always the man behind the camera, but it's very important what you do. So thank you.
Yeah, I do my best, but it's not always. Always. I do my best. The best as I can.